So what's going on, everybody? It's J.A. Salute to you for tuning in. Now, it's the Monday show, so of course we're diving into the latest updates from around the world of sneakers. Stay tuned, as it looks like Jordan Brand is finally doing it, as it looks like they're dipping into their back catalog for a very special upcoming release, one that sneakerheads have been waiting for and asking for quite some time. Guys, if you enjoy these updates, make sure you smash the like button down below. It's very important. Also, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. Now, to kick things off, we're actually going to start with Adidas, as they actually have a very high profile release kicking off via the Confirmed app today. So we have the Adidas Bad Bunny Messy Indoor Gazelle, which, as far as this pair right here, looks like Adidas is bringing a whole bunch of star power to the table, as they have two of their biggest international brand ambassadors teaming up on a familiar model from Adidas in the Gazelle. Now, as far as this Indoor Gazelle, it does feature some familiar design elements from Adidas back catalog, some design elements that we saw present during the last Adidas Bad Bunny Gazelle. Now, what you have here, in addition to those elements, is the X that you see on the back, which also serves as a double representative for Messi's jersey number. Now, with this pair, of course, they also do feature their signatures, a element which I absolutely hate, but of course, these joints are not for me. So be on the lookout for these, as these are going to be releasing for a retail of $180. The raffle has went live today via the Confirmed app, and you guys have actually up until the 29th to enter for these. Now, next up, we have a collaboration from New Balance, as they're going to be teaming up with the Up There store, a boutique based out of Australia. They've teamed up with New Balance in the past. Now, as far as this pair right here, the 860 V2, if you guys didn't know, happens to be my current favorite model from New Balance, like at the moment. And when I'm not even gonna lie though, like when I first saw these joints, like I wasn't really a huge fan. Like nowadays, I think I tend to go for the more like subtle tones, the more easy to wear color schemes. And these joints were a little out there, a little like bright, vibrant for me. As far as like the inspiration though, it is actually inspired by Australia's great outdoors. So all of the different color schemes that you have, you know, in their landscapes, they all come together to create this sneaker right here, which I'm not even gonna lie, these joints have kind of grown on me. I would have to say, like, while I wouldn't really wear these myself, I would say, like, just as an art piece, just visually, I think it all comes together to create a really nice piece right here. So if you guys are checking for these right now, you can enter the raffle, which has just went live via the uptherestore.com, and it looks like you guys have up until the 29th actually to enter for these, which are retailing at $170. Now, next up, we got a little ASICS update, which I mentioned you guys we're going to start to slightly incorporate some little ASICS updates. So right now we have their latest upcoming collaboration, which they're teaming up with House Studios, which, if you guys are unfamiliar with them, apparently House Studios is a multifaceted creative house dedicated to the examination of design concepts. So that sounds real fancy and everything like that, but as far as the first time I ever heard of House Studios was actually when they teamed up with ASICS on the Gel 1130 collaboration, was dropped back in like 2022. This was a release that caught a lot of notice, like from sneakerheads, because I think at the time it used kind of like a design element which was unique at that time, with kind of like the furry suede and like the outdoor color scheme. So as far as House Studios, I would say they were kind of ahead of the curve, as they teamed up with ASICS kind of like before everybody jumped on the whole ASICS wave and everything like that. So as far as this upcoming release, they're teaming up on the Gel Kayano 20, which I'm assuming must be like the latest lifestyle runner that ASICS is trying to push on us right here. As far as the color scheme, they do feature some similar design concepts as we saw from previous releases from House Studios and ASICS, but the big huge design element here, of course, would be the straps, which replace your traditional laces. So some people would look at this as like an innovative upgrade, which is functional, or at the same time you may look at this as like a design feature that's, you know, featured on toddler sneakers. But regardless, this should be a fun one that many people will be excited about. So these joints are going to be debuting coming up here October 29th, and at the time of the recording, the actual price point is unknown. Now, today Z Sneakerheads dropped a fire post, essentially giving us a look at all of the upcoming remaining like in-demand Jordan Brand releases that we can look forward to for the rest of 2024. Now, for me personally, as I kind of scroll through this list, I would say that the pairs dropping, like for me, are a little underwhelming, but I'm sure there's a whole bunch of great pairs that you guys are going to be excited about. And the thing that I'm most excited excited about is that it looks like Jordan Brand, they're finally doing something that we've been asking for a while, as it looks like they're finally dipping into their back catalog for a very special upcoming release. So let's go ahead and check it out. Now, first up, coming up on October 26th, we got the Jordan 4 Orchid, which appears to share the same sole as the classic Jordan 4 white cement, but on the upper it looks like you got this suede pink, which seems to really offend a lot of Jordan Brand purists. But at the same time, remember, this is a woman's exclusive release, so these joints are probably not for you. Now, next up, we have on the 2nd of November, the classic OG Jordan 14 Black Toe. Now, as far as this release right here, I'm extremely nostalgic for this pair. Of course, as y'all know, I'm a real OG. This was a pair that I used to actually rock during home basketball games back in high school. And then I remember having a pair of like the Bread playoff 14s that I used to rock, you know, during away games. So that's how I was rocking back in the day right there. Now, on the 9th, we got the Jordan 4 Fear release, in which this pair is not an OG release, but one as like, I guess you could call it like a re-release from the Fear pack, which originally dropped back in like 2013 or something like that. So this one should be refreshing, you know, for people that weren't around at that time, or maybe you are nostalgia, you know, if you were copping Jordans back at that time. Now, coming up here on the 11th, we got the Jordan 11 Bread Velvet, a release which you guys would think like would be a fan favorite, but of course, as you guys know, Nike Jordan purists, they hate anytime you switch up or make adjustments, you know, to their classics. So right here, it seems like the Bread Velvet material is a turnoff for many people. So I'm sure this will be a release that will just come and go. Now, coming up here on the 13th, things are getting a little exciting as we have Jordan Brand getting ready to hit us with the dark mocha colorway of the Jumpman Jack. So the reason I think this one will be very interesting, because I think these joints are nice, but we'll have to wait and see if Jordan Brand and Nike are finally going to open up the floodgates on these pairs, as it seems like those first original debut Jumpman Jack colorways were extremely limited. So it'll be interesting to see what they do as far as this drop. Now, on the 16th, we got an OG pair, which I feel like is really reserved just for the purists, in the Air Jordan 9 Olive. Now, as far as this pair right here, the reason I'm excited about this pair is because you really don't see too many people rocking Jordan 9s in the wild nowadays. And while I've never actually owned a pair of Jordan 9s, I think this may be the first one I may have to add to the collection. Here, I would have wanted it to be like the OG home Chicago colorway, but I can definitely settle for these, as it's a pair I've definitely, you know, had on my eyes for a while. And I don't think Jordan Brand has dropped these joints in quite some time. Now, coming up here on November 23rd, this is probably going to be the biggest release that most people are checking for towards the end of the year for Jordan Brand. Of course, we got the OG Jordan 3 Black Cements, a pair which I feel like Jordan Brand drops these joints like every 5 to 6 years, but this is a sneaker which people can't get enough of, arguably like a top 5 Jordan release of all time. This is one that everybody's going to be going crazy for, so much that I probably just pass on these right here. Now, coming up on the 30th, we got the Jordan 1 Low OG Game Royal. Now, this is not an OG to my knowledge, but this is like a fan favorite that originally came out in like 2018, the high top version. So this is where Jordan Brand is like bringing some of these fan favorite Jordan 1 models and now dropping them in low top form, a little modern update, you know, right in time for the holiday season. So be on the lookout for these joints dropping on the 30th. One that, let me know what y'all think. You think these joints are gonna go for under retail? And then coming up here on the 2nd, we got the women's exclusive Jordan 12 Phantom. Some people would call these like a poor man version of the OVO 12s. Personally, not a huge fan for those. Kind of feel like these are more of like an unnecessary colorway. Same with these Jordan 7s, which they're calling reverse metallic. While these joints are clean, they're just a little bit too simple. And as for me, I think most people are going to be waiting on those black metallic 5s, which are scheduled to debut coming up early next year. Now on the 14th, we got the big Jordan 11 annual release. This time they're bringing back the Legend Blues. Some of y'all may refer to these as the Columbias, which is the OG release, but as far as this one, you guys know how it goes with these Jordan 11s. They like over drop these, like making millions of pairs of these, and this is like a big tradition for everybody. Some people even buy like a full size run for the whole family and everything like that. And then on the 18th, we got the Jordan 12 Blueberry. This one right here, I would say, isn't really a huge release, but then again, when it comes to Jordan 12s, for some reason, these kind of have like a cult following behind them, and I'm sure this will be a big one coming up on the 18th. And then the big one, well, I guess I should say right there neck and neck with the Jordan Black Cements, but of course, as y'all know, these are going to be a lot more limited. But we got the Velvet Brown Travis Scott Jordan 1s. The early narrative on this pair, worst Travis Scott Jordan 1 release to date, but I feel like that's what they say about every pair. And then once these joints drop, you know, that narrative is going to change, as the Travis Scott hype seems to be at an all-time high, even still here in 2024. So this should be a fun one that everybody's going to be excited about coming up on the 21st. And then we got the debut of the Jordan 2024 Dornbecker collection, which this is actually going to be celebrating the 20th anniversary of this partnership, which Nike and Jordan Brand has teamed up with Dornbecker Hospital, raising over $37 million actually since this partnership began in 2004, which, as far as all of the designs, they actually come from patients from the hospital. This year we have a new selection of like bright, colorful, fun concepts. I would say my personal favorite would probably have to be these Air Max 180s, which I'm a big fan of, like the lightning design element that he used on here. So that was a really fun one. But what's most exciting about this Dornbecker collection is they're actually going to be including a Jordan 20, a model which debuted back in 2005. I remember when them joints first came out, like this is when people were still checking for like numbered Jordans, and I feel like at that time, like these joints were so ahead of their time, like so futuristic. I remember the OG colorways, the Home, Chicago, the Bread ones went crazy with the laser detailing and everything like that. And I feel like this is a model that we never really see Jordan Brand retro, maybe just like a couple of times since that original 05 release. And just based off the response from the public, it seems like people are ready for Jordan Brand to bring these joints back. Now, unfortunately, this pair right here is going to be limited to just one of 20 pairs, which they're going to be offering for like a special auction or whatever, which that's trash to me. But I guess the cool thing is it is all for charity and everything like that. So it seems like people are very excited for these back catalog Jordan releases. Like we saw how the public responded when Jordan Brand dropped a couple of different colorways of the 17 low this year. And with the debut of these, or with the unveiling of this Dornbecker collection, it seems like a lot of people are excited to see the Jordan 20 make a full return. So I think Jordan Brand has a lot of potential with models retro 15 and up, and I think it's just untapped potential that we're just waiting on. So I think this is a good sign. While I know this pair is going to be special, limited for this auction and everything like that, but I think it just opens up the idea that we could potentially see the Jordan 20s retro. Because if they did, it would be definitely something that I would cop personally, as I got a lot of nostalgia for them joints when they originally released, but never owned a pair to this day. So I think that would be exciting if we see Jordan Brand start to drop pairs like that. And while we have no official confirmation that they do have plans, I think they're looking at how the public is responding to these pairs, and who knows, maybe they could cook something up for the future. So that's it, guys. We're gonna wrap it up right here. Make sure y'all drop your feedback down below. Let me know what y'all think about all the topics covered. Of course, I will catch you guys tomorrow, which make sure y'all tune in for tomorrow's episode, as I got a big announcement, something that you guys are gonna be very excited for, especially if you're an OG here for the channel. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay safe, stay blessed. I'm J.A. and I'm out, y'all. Love.